Hey everyone, this is Christina from SLPs of Color. I'm one of the co-administrators, and tonight I have Vivian and Stephanie, who are two of my 6 other co-administrators. Or wait, 2 out of 5. There's 6 of us, right?
I can't math, girl.
Yeah. Anyway, there's 6 of us. There's 6 administrators at SLPs of Color, but the 3 of us are the primary and more visible. We're not ready to reveal who our other admins are for their protection, but we wanted to reintroduce ourselves and tell you a little bit of the history of SLPs of Color and how we got started. So again, my name is Christina, and I am a speech language pathologist in the San Francisco Bay Area. I am half Salvadoran and half Chinese, and I am American born. I identify as, or the pronouns I use are she and her. And I've been working in the schools for 7 years. And my interest is really working with students with autism. We have Vivian and Stephanie. Who wants to go next?
I'll go ahead. Okay, so I'm Stephanie Settlemeyer-Oriana, and I also work in the San Francisco Bay Area. My interests are working with children who use AAC and also bilingual Spanish speakers. I am half Guatemalan and half Brazilian, also born in the United States. And I think that's, my pronouns are she and her.
Hey everyone, my name's Viv and I go by she, her pronouns. I'm a 1.5 generation Chinese American. I'm never quite too sure how that works. And I am neurodivergent. I was raised in San Gabriel, California in Los Angeles and grew up in a Mandarin Chinese speaking household. I went to Pasadena City College for my associate's degree and got my bachelor's and master's at California State University of Los Angeles.
Sorry, Viv. I realized I didn't say where I went to school. I did go to school. I went to SF State with Stephanie.
Hey, woo, woo. I was there. I'm your witness.
He was actually there. Okay, I'm thrown off. So I'm the type of person who gets really upset when there's injustice, and I'm finding that I see that reflected in a lot of my neurodivergent students that I work with, where something is either right or it's wrong, and I feel like my brain works that way. So thus, anti-bias and anti-racism work has really become my perseveratory special interest in the last couple of years. I would say that it catapulted after Donald Trump was elected president.
So, Viv, do you want to talk a little bit about how we met?
Okay. Do you want me to go back first or go? I think I'm in a weird trajectory here. Okay. It was weird. My school district sent Stephanie, so Stephanie and I worked together, and my school district sent us to the CEU event, and I got there early and sat down, and I think I was like fumbling with my laptop or something like that, and Christina was sitting there, and I think you had a sticker on your laptop that I like clung onto and started a conversation over, and I forget what the sticker was, but it had something to do with minoritized race, something. I have no clue who it was or what it was. Do you remember?
I think it was a sticker from the Obama administration or the Obama Foundation. I don't know.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So put stickers on your laptops and your water bottles, because that's how you're going to spark conversations with people at CU events and find
Frida Kahlo. In front of me.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a way of like filtering like who's going to be my people, right? Because who else is going to stick that on their laptop or their water bottle? But I started talking to Christina, and it was the most awkward thing because Stephanie came in and like I turned around and I saw her, and she says like hi, like really loudly, and she waves, and I thought she was talking to me because I work with her. And she got closer and she was just talking to Christina. I was like, wait a second, you guys know each other? And then I felt kind of like confused. But yeah, that's how we met.
And then Viv, you invited Stephanie, and then Stephanie, I think, invited me to the Sisters meetups that you had been going to.
Yeah. So I'm not a Bay Area, like I wasn't raised in the Bay Area. I haven't lived here for a very long time. I'm a transplant from Los Angeles because of my spouse's career. And so I grew up in an area where in San Gabriel, like back in the early 90s, it was very, very heavily Latinx and Asian representation, and very few, actually very, very few white folk. And so I was in this special little bubble in terms of never feeling like super alone. And I never felt that feeling until I went to my first ASHA. But, you know, we can avoid ASHA, right? ASHA conventions. We can just not go there if it's uncomfortable. So when I moved up here to the Bay Area, I ended up being the only person of color on my whole SPED team in a school campus where there were very few people of color, but they were in general education, so I didn't come across them too often. And I was trying to make friends on like those friendship dating apps like Bumble BFF and like, not Match.com. Gosh, one of those other things for friendship.
Like
anyway,
or something.
Yeah, meetup groups. There you go. And I ended up again being the only person of color, and I wasn't ever raised in a situation where that's ever been the norm for me, and it was hard. And I felt really lonely, and there was frequently like those microaggressions where you're just like, something's wrong, but I can't quite pinpoint it. And is it actually that truly bad, or am I just tripping? So when my spouse and I decided that we're going to stay in the Bay Area for good, and we moved again up here, I decided that I wanted to be a little bit more intentional and looking for other folk of color to become friends with. So, you know, to find that like community again that I used to have. And so I thought, okay, well, I have to talk about speech pathology all day long, and I'm feeling alone this way. So I was in the Sisters in Speech Therapy and Audiology. I think that's what SISTA stands for. And I met other SLPs of color in this area, and we had been meeting up quite frequently. You know, we would have happy hours, we would vent to each other, ask each other clinical questions, talk about being people of color and our experiences. And then when I met Christina and Stephanie, I was like, wait, you guys should join us, like hang out with us. And we were doing meetups once every month at that point. Little did I know that, you know, you all had your own thing going on too.
Well, so that kind of segues into how SLPs of Color started. So SLPs of Color started from conversations that I had with other members of Sisters. So Stephanie and I started going. I think I went once without Stephanie, and then, you know, Stephanie went once without me. But since we knew each other from college, and like now I kind of knew Vivian, it was, you know, easy to go to these meetups because, again, like Vivian said, we're all talking about speech therapy. We were all women of color. And so I was talking to someone, and I think it was Karina Seychow, who we've interviewed, and she's been on our page before. But Karina had told me, did you know, blah, 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 like there's only 8% of Black, Indigenous, Asian, Native American, there's only 8% of people of color in all of ASHA. And I was like, what? Are you serious? I had no idea. So this was 2 years ago now. And after that, I was like, well, we're having these conversations here. Like, I wonder if there's more people of color that are like interested in the same things that we're interested in. And so I started the page, and I said, hey, Steph, do you want to like help run this page with me? And we can like, you know, put things that we find interesting about the field. We can try and connect with, you know, other people, and see if they have any resources for like bilingualism, or like in any relation to like race and ethnicity and culture. And so we started, slowly posting things. And then Vivian found out, and she was like, oh, I'd love to join you. And we were like, yeah, like, let's do it. And so the three of us kind of formed this internet community, and slowly people started following us and engaging with us and talking to us about their experiences in the field, their experiences in college, what it was like for them. And then from there, we started an interview series because we wanted to have a way of sharing these stories where they were like housed in like a time capsule almost. And so we started the interview series on YouTube and made it into a podcast, and it allowed us to get a little deeper and have more, I would say, heartfelt conversations about what some of the struggles are and how people self-care, when they might be the only person of color on a team, or even dealing with really personal situations and things like that. And so that was pretty much like the spark of all of this. And things have like grown and grown and grown, and now we have like tripled the number of followers in like less than 2 months. And so we wanted to reintroduce ourselves and tell you like what we see ourselves doing going forward and where we would like to see this community go and grow, and with all of your participation as well.
Right. And that being said, I think part of our purpose of why we created this space on Instagram was, like you said, Christina, to support one another and create an inclusive space for all SLPs of color. We want to offer support system and eventually establish a nonprofit to have a way that we can accept donations and eventually provide financial support through scholarships and other resources. In the future, we also want to do outreach, and we want to talk to youth. I know that you've gone and done that, Christina, and we do have pamphlets from ASHA, and really make it more known about our field, so that youth and young people realize that they have options, and know about like, oh, what major do I need to declare if I want to go down this path? What does it look like? And really have some representation there. As far as being mentors, like we want to be mentors in our field and also collaborate with others, as we have been doing. We want to continue those collaborations. I know I kind of went through that quickly. Do you guys have more to add?
No, I think, with some of the donations that we've already received, we did file the paperwork to become a nonprofit. So Viv, we're just waiting to hear back, right?
Yeah, it's a process, and we're learning as we're doing it too. So it's going to be a process, but I do want to kind of go backwards a little bit, because financially supporting students is not something new to us. Christina and Stephanie, like before I even joined y'all, you were offering scholarships at our local Cal State universities for the SLP students there to get their NISLA scholarships. And that's been like a topic that we've frequently talked about, is like, when you're a grad student and you're a person of color, many times, a first or second generation student, like that $60 matters so much and makes a big difference. And so I think that that's kind of the spirit of where we were going with like wanting to start that nonprofit. And also then it holds us accountable. So it's not just some, Mickey Mouse, send us a Venmo and then we're going to Venmo somebody else type of thing. We do want to be super transparent and tap into resources for other people. I know that, people are very giving, our community is very giving, but also if we are a nonprofit, then they get to write off that donation as well, which will incentivize and not just incentivize, but like, it'll reward a little bit for community members when they are giving. Also, we're in the San Francisco Bay Area, like the three of us, and we have this huge tech industry here who many of our friends and colleagues and friends of friends and whatnot, work for these companies that will match donations to. And I think that by doing that, I see this vision of being able to help support more students of color with like their application fees or missile membership. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Becoming nonprofit, I think, is something that the three of us were really passionate about, because it almost legitimizes the help that we are able to offer. And we know that there's kind of like a spectrum, right? So there's people who are already in the field, there are people that are coming into the field because they're studying, and then there are people who don't even know about it but might be interested in it. And so if we become a nonprofit, like, maybe it'll help us reach all of those people and be a support for the people that are already in the field, be a support for the people that are studying to become speech language pathologists and audiologists, and do outreach. So that's, why I think the nonprofit has been such a big deal. And then on top of that, like, all the little things of running our account, like figuring out how to do a website. We're learning how to do that right now, and like figuring out content and things like that. I mean, all of those things go into running SLPs of Color. And I do want to give credit to the 3 other admins that we have. We also have a group of LA organizers that I want to shout out. So thank you to our LA organizers. Part of what we started doing was in the spirit of the Sisters meetup. So we tried to start doing meetups as well. And last year, we had some folks reach out to us and say, hey, will you come down to Los Angeles? We want to, like, get a meetup going down here. And we had over like 40 or 50 people register, and I think 40 people came, which is like a really good turnout. And from that, other people were like, we really believe in what you all are trying to do, reaching out to students and connecting speech therapists together. We want to do that down here. And so we have 4 LA organizers. So we have Crysta, Celia, Joyce, and Jimmy. And yeah, we'll introduce you to them in the near future as well, but we just wanted you all to put a face to at least some of us that are running the page. And like I said earlier, we have some other admins who are not ready to reveal themselves yet, but we really pride ourselves in working in collaboration with people from diverse backgrounds, so different intersectionalities and things like that, because I think the way of the world right now, everything feels so separate. Like, there's a group of people over there. There's people, like in ASHA, like there's different caucuses, and that's great because there's a lot of value in people who have similar experiences to you. But we wanted our space to be intersectional in that I can talk about being mixed race. I personally don't feel like I can separate and say, well, I only care about issues that relate to my, Asian heritage or my Latinx heritage. And I think a lot of people, because of the work that we do, are meeting people from different backgrounds. And so cultural humility and cultural curiosity, is also part of our profession. And I don't know of any other spaces where people of all different backgrounds can talk about these things in a safe way. So yeah, it was important for us to come on here today and share that with you all. And we really, appreciate you being here, because a community involves input from other people. It's not just us, telling you all information. We're doing this all in collaboration. So I think that's also something else that we wanted to talk about here too. So that's it for us. Again, thank you all for, being here with us and following along on our journey. In the future, after COVID times, we're hoping to have meetups again. We're hoping to meet a lot more people, and we're continuing to figure out processes for how to financially support students and work in collaboration with people and pay them for their time. And we want to continue our interview series. We have a feature series every Friday. We're going to start featuring students as well. So just stay tuned, and thank you. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.